Hello everybody, today we're going to talk a little bit about height over bore or sight over bore, meaning the height of your sight over the center of your bore axis, specifically on rifles or rifle style pistols, and what it does to your point of aim, point of impact at different distances. So this is going to be more or less centered around or aimed at newer shooters, people who may not already understand this. So let's get into it. So again, we're talking about the height of the sight, or your dot, or your reticle, over the center of your bore axis, or the center of your barrel. What that height is, and what that does for your point of aim, point of impact. So, at 0 yards, at point blank, your shot will land the distance of your sight over the bore. Now when we zero our optics, and bear with me here, this is going to be horrible, but here is your optic, your red dot on a riser, and your barrel. And this distance from here to here is going to be whatever distance it is for you. For me, it's right about 2 inches. What happens when your projectile leaves your barrel is it starts dropping instantly, which is why when we zero something, we zero it at a yardage out here, and you're actually shooting upward, and the bullet comes down, while your sight keeps a straight point of aim, which I know that's not very straight, but this is why we have our 2 impacts for like 5200 or whatever. What is it? 5200? Yeah. This is why we have our 2 impacts, because the bullet is going out of the gun upward and gravity is pulling it downward, and that's why we have our 2 common impacts. However, the closer we are, the further our point of aim and point of impact is going to be. And of course, the further we are away, the more closely or right on, depending on the distance, your point of impact and point of aim is going to be. So in close quarters, something like a close quarter setup, to which is where this is the most common issue, the most commonly found problem, is that you're aiming for somebody here and you end up hitting them down here. Is that a super big deal? No, not necessarily, but you still need to know where your point of aim versus your point of impact is. So to demonstrate this, right here at 7 yards, if I put my reticle right on that dot, let's see where it landed. Now I have this sighted in at a 36 yard zero. But this is where I was aiming, that is where it landed. If I go out further, so we are now closer to that 36 yard zero that I have. I do the same thing, if I can hold it steady enough. Give it a couple. I'm bouncing all over the place. Well, let's go check those out. So I have 2 shots there, 1 there, as you can see, but yeah, I actually raised up closer to my 0 from the longer distance away. So this is my holdover for close quarters. This is my 0 at that 36 or so yards. So now if I want to hit the dot in the head at this closer range, I'm going to aim over about 2 inches, and as you can see, right in the black. So that is the short and dirty of height over bore. Why height over bore can be
pretty important to note and to get practice with. I suggest what is called a near and far drill. It's at least that's what I call it, and that is having a target at 7 yards or 10 yards, and then a target at 50 yards or wherever your zero is, and try and hit the same spot on each target, practicing that height over bore. You're going to have to aim high at the near target and then transition to aiming in the right place at the far target, and get your brain to start switching back and forth quickly so you can be more proficient at those various yards utilizing your height over bore.